So welcome to everybody. Here we are in a very special meeting. We're celebrating Matan Torah, receiving the Torah, and we're celebrating the Rebbezen's Yahrzeit, Chayah Mushkah, Schneerson, and I have a lot of things to share with you. And let's start different from the Hebrew. Let's start with the Shabbos and Yontav Nigun that they put words on the Rebbetzen on it.
But not everybody is muted, so there's background.
I don't hear you, what?
Not everybody has muted.
Yeah, I'm going to mute everybody now. Yes. So you can sing, but you can't sing with me loud. You can sing with me in your own home and clap hands and dance, whatever you want. Let's do a Shabbos and Yontav Nigun that words for the Rebbetzen were put on it. Very famous. You can do it with words later if you want. But I want to start with Matan Torah before we go talking about the Rebbetzen. Matan Torah was a very, very special time. It's the first time in history where there was a connection between the spiritual world and the physical world. Because till Matan Torah, there was no way that the physical and spiritual could combine and unite together. Spiritual is up there, up in heaven, and the physical world is down here. There was a decree that the ones above can't go down and the ones from the below can't go up. Chazal are even using the words, those living in Rome can't go down. Bnei Roma lo yavo latuna, whatever. You can't go from one place to the other. It's a different world. They don't connect. And that was till Matan Torah. Our forefathers were keeping the Torah. They were doing mitzvot. But whatever they used in order to do mitzvot didn't have any kedusha left in them. Like Yaakov Avinu, he took the sticks to do the trick of the genetic changing of the sheep to be akudim, nikudim, ubrudim, to be all the different colors so he can get all the sheep from Lavan. So our sages say that he used sticks and ropes and he tied them in a way. That was the secret of tefillin. But when he finished doing it, he could throw it out. He didn't have anything left in it. There was no kedusha. Kedusha couldn't connect with the world. So they say it was a decree. עליונים לא ירדו למטה ותחתונים לא יעלו למעלה. And for that, I found a few nigunim that I think can fit very well with that. One of them is the known nigun by Rabbi Yitzchak. It's called the Dudale. It's called Dudale because there's a lot of do. Do in Yiddish is you, and also do is there. Okay, and where are you? He's asking Ribbon Shalom, where are you? Ana emtsaeka, where can I find you, Ribbon Shalom? Why can I not find you? He says it in Yiddish again, ach wie ich will dich finden, Ribbon Shalom, ach wie ich will nicht gefinnen. Where can I not find you? Because you're up there. Mala do, mata do, Mizrach do, Ma'arav do, Tzafon do, Darom do, you're everywhere. In up and down and front and back and Tzafon, Darom, all the directions, and you're everywhere. And if it's good, then it's you. If chalilanit, if chas v'chalil, it's not good, and it's also you. And if it's you, then it's good. So that's a song by Rabbi Yitzchak, the Dudale. And I'll sing some Yiddish, and the nice thing. I want to show you that there's a few parts in it that are very similar to one in Chabad, so we'll do later. So let's do the doodle. ריבונו של עולם, ריבונו של עולם, ריבונו של עולם, ריבונו של עולם, איך בלעדו דלזיגה, אוי ריבונו של עולם, איך בלדיר עדו דלזיגה. That's the famous song by Rabbi Yitzchak. It is in Sefer Nigunim also. I don't remember what number, Dina, you can find it there. The Doodle from Rabbi Yitzchak. There's a Chabad Nigun that I feel is connected with it, not only because of the words, but also because of the melody, which is interesting. They say, the pasuk, Ana emtsaeka, ואנה לא אמצעך, אנה אמצעך, אם עסק שמיים שם אתה והציע שלא נינקה. אנה אלך מרוחך ואנה מפניך אברח, אם עסק שמיים, if I'm going to go up to heaven, where can I find you, ריבונו שלום? If I go up to heaven, there you are, as high up as I go, I'm still looking up and you're even farther away. והציע שאול, if I go down, if I fall down, if something bad happens, חס וחלילה, there you are. Here you are with us. That's one of the things about, times of bad, Hashem is with you. In times of good, then you look up, try to reach Him, you can never reach Him. So there's two melodies in Chabad. One of them is a Shabbos and Yom Tov Nigun, that they put the words on it, they put the words, Mesak Shamayim Sham Ata, Vatzia She'ol Nineka. That's Nigun number 73. If I'm not mistaken, I'm checking. Yes, 73. And interesting. There's parts of it that sounds. You hear it has a saying with the Rabbi Yitzchak song. עסק שמיים שמות, איי 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 עסק שמיים שמות, איי
Something happened to your sound.
Now, do you hear me now? Yes, you do.
Yes, yes.
Okay, but the song you heard the piano just disappeared after the song? Okay, and you tried to tell me something with the middle? Levi, I couldn't understand. I couldn't see the faces. Somebody there I was supposed to know, but I didn't recognize. Sorry, you tell me later. So this beautiful nigun, and there's another nigun in Chabad, which is nigun 256. It's also in Esek Shemaim, Ana Emtsaeka, in Esek Shemaim. Ana Elech Meruchecha. Ana Emtsaeka, Moshe Ana Emtsaeka, in Esek Shemaim Shamata. Also, the connection between them. Ana Elech Meruchecha. Where can I go away? Where can I get away from you and hide from you, Ribono Shalom? Ana Elech Meruchecha ve'ana mipanecha evrach. Where can I run away from you, Ribono Shalom? Im Esek Shemaim, if I go up to the heaven, you're still there. If I go down, you're there. They say that when Snagget says it, he says it with a lot of fear. He says, oh no, I can't hide from you anywhere. There's nowhere to hide. Everywhere you are. If I go up, you're there. If I go down, you're there. Anywhere you are. But the Chassid says it so different. The Chassid says, En atar panui mineh. There's no place in the world without Hashem. Hashem is everywhere. Hashem is here. Hashem is there. Hashem is there. Hashem is totally everywhere. Up, down, down, down. Okay, so that wasn't planned, but that's asked to come play with us. Somebody wrote something I can't read. Oh, now you hear me, but it's okay. So the other nigun is talking about there's no place without you. So Ana Elech Meruchecha. It starts with more of 256. It starts with slower, and then it goes into dancing more and more. 296. So that's the other. Where can I hide from you? So, now you see each other? Okay, wonderful. Now, Matan Torah is a very special time, and there's a lot of voices connected with Matan Torah. First thing is that Hashem woke us up with trumpets. Hey, time to get up, time to wake up. And Hashem woke us with the sound of shofar early in the morning, and it struck us with a lot of awe, because if you hear a big sound for a long time, it's, because normally in the world, when you play a note, if you wait long enough, it just disappears. If you blow something, you blow as long, even you blow till you don't have any air, and then it disappears. But when Hashem blows the shofar, not only that it's endless, if you hear something, you want it to go away already. You hear it, you want to go away, it doesn't go away. It starts to go on your nerves, it starts to struck you out. But not only that, it was getting louder and louder and louder and louder. Amazing. Yeah, when Hashem blew the shofar, as long as it's going on, it was getting stronger and stronger, and it struck everybody, was really scared of that. That's one thing. There's times of sound mentioned about Matan Torah are mentioned 5 times. 4 times before we got the Torah, and once receiving the Torah itself was with sound. And it's very interesting. We're going to connect it somehow with the Rebbetzen. I'm going to tell you the secret afterwards. Whoever came in early in the last class, he already heard it in the end, but it's okay. In the Hebrew class. So there was a lot of sound from the shofar. What wasn't there? There was no other sound in the world. Everything was silence. The world was silent. Except for the shofar for Hashem blowing. The animals didn't fly, didn't make sounds, didn't chirp. The birds didn't chirp. The oxen didn't blow their voice. All animals were quiet when we received the Torah. So that's interesting. The other thing, the other thing is normally when you have a sound, there's an echo. When you speak, and whatever you say reaches some kind of object, it comes back to you as an echo. In Matan Torah, there was no echo. Hashem was speaking, and the voice just kept going for forever, going till this day. By the way. The sound is still going till this day in the world. The whole world is surrounded with the same sound still of Hashem from them. And it said we could see the sounds. How can we see sounds? Anybody knows how can we see sounds? How can that be? That we could see the sounds. There was kolot uvrakim. They said there were sounds and there were lightning. So the lightning we could see. And the shofar we could hear. But why does it say that we could see the sounds? How can we see a sound? Anybody has a suggestion? How can you see sounds? One very simple way to see sounds. Bakasha. You see the sounds? Anybody who can read music can see the sounds. Oh, obvious which song it is. Okay. But whoever knows to read music, he can hear the sounds. More talented, less talented, but you can still read the sounds. Another way to see the sounds is an oscillator. Oscillator is a physical thing that oscilloscope. It goes up and down according to the waves of the sound. It's higher. EKG goes according to sound. You can see the sounds. It's checking your heartbeat. It goes with electricity. It shows you when it's high, when it's low. There's more sound, less sound. Music. I'm doing a lot of editing now on the Rav's new CD that I'm working on. And I'm always taking sounds, the big sounds or the small sounds here with this with there, cut it here, paste it there. You see the sounds, you're working with sound, you can see them, And there was a person named Yaakov Guggenheim. He found out something very interesting. He found out that if you take a special oscilloscope, I don't know exactly which kind he did in order to see it. You can see the voices. And he said he tried all kinds of voices on it, and he found something very, very special, very interesting. He tried the alphabet of all kinds of languages, and each one of them was just a mumble jumble of all kinds of signs. But when he did the Hebrew, saying Aleph, you could see the picture of an Aleph. When he said base, you can see the picture of a base. which is amazing. Look for him up in Google. Make a Google search for Yaakov Guggenheim, or Guggenheim, I don't know if it's with O or U. And amazing, you can see the sounds, which is very interesting. But in Matan Torah, it was even simpler than that, and even more wonderful than that. In Matan Torah, we could really see the sounds. We could see what you can hear, what you can hear, what you can see. Because in Matan Torah, Hashem lifted us higher up than our body. They said that the neshama left the body and he had to put it back in because we were so awestruck. We heard just the first two dibrot from Hashem himself, and then Moshe told us the Hebrew because we couldn't take it. It was too much. The first two was one keneged ahava, for love, and one keneged yirah, and one is for all the mitzvot aseh, all the mitzvot that you do because you do them out of love, and all the things you're not supposed to do. That was these two. It's the seed for all the Torah. So how could we see the sounds? Because the senses is something that the neshama has inside of the body. A blind person can see. He has the power of sight somewhere in his neshama, but the body doesn't function it. He has the possibility of sight, but the body doesn't fit it. So before we came down into this world, the neshama has all the powers, all the possibilities, all the senses, and all the senses are connected into something higher up. When it comes to the body, you can see with your eyes, you can hear with your ears, you can taste with your tongue, and you can feel with your hands. And in Matan Torah, we could see the sounds and we could hear. You found it? Somebody found it. Wonderful. Thank you, Toby. That's the Guggenheim thing? Great. Thank you so much. And so it's the combination of all the senses, and we could mix between them. They say in the future we'll also be able to do that when Mashiach comes. They say you'll be able to eat with your hand. You put the food in your hand, you put it in, and it just will be absorbed in your hand. Riba, that's a skit for portraying what's going to be when Mashiach comes, right? You put it in your hand and you eat it. Even today we feed the skin, but still to eat, be able to do it saves time. You can talk and still eat with your hands. Good. And don't try it now. Don't try it home. Okay, so that's seeing the nigun, but we have to do a nigun. I thought of a nigun that fits. We could do a nigun about Torah, but let's do one about Kabbalat Torah, a Kaliv nigun, Kaliver Hasidim. It's written by the Kaliver Rebbe. I didn't see it in writing, I just heard it in a cassette that I found. It says in Yiddish, get ready to be everybody together to have Ahavat Yisrael because we're going to receive the Torah. Get ready to receive the Torah. The second part, it says get ready to receive Mashiach Tzidkenu. They're both parallel. So I translated it into Hebrew. I didn't translate it into English. Maybe I should have. Maybe the English words. Ke'ish echad v'lev echad. As one people, as one man in one heart, we stood in front of Har Sinai to receive the Torah. Ke'ish echad v'lev echad. Ke'ish echad v'lev echad. Lekabalat HaTorah. Tzukah bahalat. Mashiach Tzidkenu, to Kabbalat, in Yiddish zu, ist du. Ke'ish echad b'lev echad, ke'ish echad b'lev echad, lekabalat HaTorah, lekabalat, Mashiach Tzidkenu. Torah misiני, Torah misiני, Torah misiני. Torah misiני, Torah misiני, Torah misiני. כאיש אחד בלב אחד, כאיש אחד בלב אחד, לקבלת התורה, לקבלת, בני משיח צדקנו. So even though it's not in English, it's Yiddish and Hebrew, but still, I thought it was a very happy tune to share with you. Now, you know that thanks to women, we receive the Torah. We have a big part in that. They say, the Parsha, how does the Parsha start? It starts with Vayishma Yitro choten Moshe. Yitro heard that he came. Who did he bring with him? He brought Tzipporah and Moshe's 2 sons. Where were they till now? They were in Midian. Till we were ready to receive the Torah. They didn't go into Egypt. When Moshe met Aharon in the desert, Aharon says, why do you bring them? We have enough people suffering in Egypt. Why do you bring 3 more people to suffer in Egypt? Send them home to Midian. So he did. He sent Tzipporah. He divorced her and sent her to Midian. And now when the time comes to receive the Torah, Yitro brings Tzipporah. And our sages say it's a good thing she came, because if Moshe wouldn't have been married, we couldn't have received the Torah. Only when Moshe was complete with his other half, he could go up to Har Sinai, come back down alive. You remember the story about 4 people went into the Pardes, into the orchard, meaning learning the secrets of Torah, and only one came out sane and alive, and then one person was Rabbi Akiva, because he was married. That's what our sages say, he was married. So he could come down safely from receiving the Torah. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. He had Tzipporah with him. So that's one thing. Again, you want to do a song about women? We want to do songs about the Rebbetzen. So we'll talk about the Rebbetzen very soon. We're going to connect this thing about the women's powers with the Rebbetzen. They also say that when we receive the Torah, Hashem tells Moshe, Ko tomar lebeit Yaakov, v'taged livnei Israel. This is what you should say to the Beit Yaakov, to the house of Yaakov, v'taged, and speak to the Bnei Israel. Why twice? Why different language? So our sages say the first one is for the women, and the second is for the men. First one, Ko tomar lebeit Yaakov, lemor is soft. You should say to the house, who's the house? His wife, the women. That's the house. Ko tomar lebeit Yaakov, say it softly and explain it first to the women. V'taged livnei Israel, and then you should speak, with toughness. It's a tough talking, kemo gidim. You should speak with a man, tell it to them in a harsh way. Why? So 2 reasons. One of them is, if you would tell the women first, it's going to stay. They're going to keep it. We know that women didn't sin in Chayah Egel, they didn't sin in Chayah Meraglim. The women are stronger. They didn't lose the faith in Zion, like we said last week. No, women were stronger. He said, first tell the women. If you want it to stay, you want to keep it, tell the women first. That's one reason. The other reason is because of Chet Adat, the first sin in the world. What happened then? Who heard the mitzvah, the first mitzvah, the one mitzvah, one and only mitzvah that they heard and they didn't keep? Who heard it? Only Adam. First man, he heard it. The wife didn't hear it. So what happens? He tells her what Hashem said. And he tells her, you shouldn't eat from the tree and don't dare touch it. You're not supposed to touch it. So when she met the snake, and she said, what did he say about it? She said, you're not supposed to eat and not supposed to touch. She said, oh yeah, he pushed her to the tree. He says, you see, nothing happens. So you could also eat. And she got tempted and she ate. But if she would have heard it from Hashem himself, she wouldn't have eaten. So now this time Hashem tells the women first, and they will hear it. So that's the Beit Yaakov. What should we do now for the women? From Rabbi Meir Blecher, you remember the song? about women's powers. So let's talk about one of the most special women we had in our generation. And she was so special that everybody didn't know her.
Excuse me, what was the song we just heard?
The song we just heard was a Breslov song written by Rabbi Meir Bleicher.
Rabbi Meir what?
Bleicher.
Bleicher.
He was a Talmud, he was a pupil of Rabbi Natan, which was the pupil of Rabbi Nachman of Breslov. It's a Breslov song. And he wrote the song for his daughter. His daughter was getting married and he was very poor. His daughter wanted clothes for the wedding. He says, I'm sorry, I don't have money to give you, but I have a song to give you. And he wrote a song for her as a wedding present. So she had a song, and we have it till this day. Rabbi Meir Bleicher. So that was this song. Now, how is the Rebbetzen connected with receiving the Torah on Har Sinai? We said there were five voices, 4 before Matan Torah and 1 of Matan Torah itself. But I didn't finish talking about Matan Torah. Sorry, let's finish that. We say that there was no echo, and the song, the voice of Hashem is still going another word. But how did Hashem talk to us? He said, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. What's Anochi? Anochi is very connected with music also. Why? Anochi, in Hasidut explain, Anochi is made out of 4 words. Ana, Nafshi, Kadvit, Yahavit. Ana is me, Nafshi, my soul. Kadvit, I've written, and Yahavit, I gave you. I took my soul, I wrote it and gave you, which means my most inner soul I gave to you. How can you give your most inner soul? With sound, with music. There's 4 kinds of letters. I just read from the Rebbe Rayatz, the Rebetzen's father. The 4 types of letters. One of them, the lowest, is the letters of deeds, letters of what you do. It stays in the world, you see what you did. The higher than that is letters of speech. When you speak, you're speaking something that you already thought about and it came down to the world. That's letter of speech. Higher than that is letters of thought. No, you can't talk without having thought before that. So letters of thought are much more spiritual letters. That's very higher. It's in your brain. It's concealed from everybody else. But higher than that is letters of music. Letters of music are even higher than that. So when a composer writes a song, the composer puts his thoughts, his feelings into notes. He's putting his innermost soul. So when Hashem says, Ana nafshi katvit vayid, I took my soul and I put it down for you, I wrote and gave you, it's like having a song. So you should know it's very important what song you hear, because you have to know who wrote it. You're connecting with whoever wrote it. So you don't want to connect with some drunkard in the street or some goy, which is grub. You want to connect with something that is spiritual, something that is delicate, something that will connect you with Gan Eden. So it's important to hear good music, to hear something that is holy. There should be a holy nigun and a holy person that plays it also, not only whoever wrote the music, so both of them. I didn't see the remark, so you can speak up if you want. So we said this echo never disappeared and it's still flying around the world. They say that every day there's a bat call, there's an echo coming out from a bat call, some voice is coming out of Har Sinai every day. There's all kinds of things this bat call is saying. One of them is, every day my Torah should be as new. You should look at my Torah every day as if you received it just today. And Rabbi Akiva explains, B'chol yom yiyu b'einecha kechadashim. How can that be? So he says, Hashem revealed himself to us on Mount Sinai as a zaken, maleh rachamim, like an old person, like a sage, full of mercy. Zaken, maleh rachamim, what's the acronym? What's the first letters? Zaken, maleh rachamim, zemer. Zemer b'chol yom, zemer b'chol yom. A song every day. Zemer is a song. And that's what Rabbi Akiva said. It should be like a new song for you every day. So, we said 5 sounds before Matan Torah and during Matan Torah. And our sages say also that whoever is zoche to make happy a chatan and kala and the wedding, because Matan Torah was the wedding between Am Yisrael and Hashem. Finally, he came down to the world. And whoever brings joy to a chatan and kala in the wedding night is zoche, will be married to 5 sounds, 5 voices. Because there were 5 voices in Matan Torah, whoever makes merry a Chatan and Kala is going to also get 5 voices. Why do I have 5 voices? We say that under the chuppah and in the Sheva Brachas. Kol Sason v'Kol Simcha, Kol Chatan v'Kol Kala. That's 4. That's the 4 revealed ones. And the 5th one, in the Pasuk and in the Nevi'im, where we bring this words from, Kol Sason v'Kol Simcha, they say call of saying thanksgiving to Hashem. And in the chuppah, we say Kol Mitzhalot Chatanim, Chatanim being very happy. So the 5 voices, whoever makes a Chatan and Kala happy merits 5 voices. Now, how does that connect with the Rebbetzen? We're going to go over to sing songs of the Rebbetzen, a few of them, or a couple of them at least. How does that fit with the Rebbetzen? So that's in Hebrew. I'll reveal it to you. What's the name of the Rebbetzen? Chayah, Mushkah, Shneoson. Chet, Mem, Shin. Together it's Chamesh, it's 5. And after Rebbetzen passed away, the Rebbe opened an organization called Chamesh. It was head of all kinds of activities in her memory, and he named it Chamesh for her name. So I thought that was a nice connection with our parsha, 5 there and 5 for her, and she's by herself Chayah Mushkah Shnei, so she's Chamesh. Now let's do the same song we did then, Tamid Levada. With the words, I didn't send you these words. If you remind me, I'll send it in the group after Shabbos, after the meeting. She was always there by herself. She was lonely. She gave her life. She gave her husband to the people, to the Hasidim, and she didn't have any children, but we are her children. That's what the words of the Nigun are talking about. Tamid levada. Tamid levada. מצווה אימא כחיה בפרודה, כמו את כל חוצה, לעצמה לא חשבה, ימיה כולם הקרבה. שלוחיו של הרבי תמיד בודדה, כמו אם שדואגת בכל מאודה, דרשנית של צניעות לעולם בידה, בכל שעשתה לא נודע. שייכים כמובן לאהבת חסידים, נכדייך להיות קשורים, כי אנו לה כמו ילדים, שלוחיו של הרבי תמיד עומדה, כמו אם שדואגת בכל מאודה, שרביט של צניעות לעולם בידה, בכל שעשתה לו נודע. מצווה אימה וכחיה בפרודה, כמו אימה הודה, לעצמה לא חשבה, ימיה כולם הקרבה. שלוחיו של הרבי תמיד בודדה, כמו אם שדואגת בכל מאודה, שהרביט של צניעות לעולם בידה, בכל שעשתה לו נודע. הרבי וגם מסרים, שייכים כמובן לאהבת חסידים, לימדה איך להיות קשורים, כי אנו לה כמו ילדים, שלוחיו של הרבי תמיד עומדה, כמו אם שדואגת בכל מאודה, שהרבית של צניעות זה לעולם בידה, בכל שעשתה לו. She was so concealed, she was so unknown. Most people didn't even know her name, didn't know who the Rebetzen's name. And for sure not, didn't know how she looks. She used to go around in the neighborhood and nobody knew who she was. She walked into 770 from the side door, the private door, and the Talmidim were looking at her, the students are saying, "What are you doing here?" They didn't recognize her. Once there's a story that she invited an electrician to fix something in her house, and he walks in, and she always used to identify herself that this Shneur son for President Street is calling, and he came to her house to fix something, and looks around and says, "Are you Lubavitchers?" And she says, "Yes." So he looks around more and says, "But I don't see any picture of the Rebbe. How can you be Lubavitcher? I don't see any picture of the Rebbe." So because the name was Shneur son, she said, "No, you're Lubavitcher." So she smiled and says that when you have the original, you don't need a copy. So that was one. But people didn't know her. And when there was the big in the, how do you call it, in court, there was a court case about the books. When somebody from the family of the Schneerson tried to take the books to himself, he said it belongs to the family, not to the Hasidim. I need the money, I want to sell them. And there was a court case, and the Rebbe went to court. And one of the testimony that they needed was from the Rebbetzen. They brought her to the court to ask her. I don't know if they came to her. They came to the Rebbe to get his testimony. So they asked her, who do the books belong to? The Rebbe or the Hasidim? What did she answer? She answered, the books and the Rebbe belong to the Hasidim. My father and the books belong to the Rebbe, to the Hasidim. Because there was nothing private. Everything belonged to the Hasidim. The Rebbe belongs to the Hasidim. She gave the Rebbe to the Hasidim. She gave us a sample how to be a Hasid. She was the main Hasid of the Rebbe. She used to wait at home by herself alone till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning till the Rebbe finished the Verbrengen and finished talking to everybody, or finished giving out dollars, giving them chiddush, whatever. She waited alone at home. There was no children, there was nobody there. She was alone, very, very lonely. And when the Rebbe came home finally, she was up waiting for him, to comfort him, to give him a cup of tea, and to sit and talk for a few minutes. That's what the people say. She was a very, very special person. We were not zoche to really meet her then. We can look it up more and have more stories. Let's do the other song that they put words. The one we just did, the words, if I'm not mistaken, were put to this melody by Miriam Goldberg. Miriam Goldberg, she lives in Ramat Aviv. The shluchim there. She's the daughter of Yaakov Lerner, the one that I sent you in the group, the one person dancing, the old chassid dancing. That's her father. So Miriam Goldberg, she wrote the words for that one. Now, this one, I don't know who wrote it. I wish we had it in English. But it's very nice, Shabbos and Yom Tov Nigun. And the words are saying about the same thing, that she taught us how to be Hasidim, and she gave the Rebbe to the there. And she's very, very tzniusdik. You know, she has like a queen has something in her hand. How do you call what the queen holds and the king holds in it? You know, how do you call that? Something with an S, no? It's not a staff. It's a, I don't know. You have something that, you know, a fairy has in her hand.
Scepter.
So that tznius was her scepter. So Sharvit, Tzniut. Chashveros, we're getting to Adar. Next week we'll have to talk about Adar. It's going to be Rosh Chodesh Adar. Wow. Okay, so let's do this one. רבי משגרת לבדה נותרת יום ולילה שעה. Beautiful song by Rabbi Aaron Charitonov, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that true, Dina? It's a nigun by Rabbi Aaron Charitonov, nigun ein zayin. Which one is it? No, that's not ein zayin. Which number is it? It's before or it's after? 60 something? No, it's 70 something.
$82.
82? Great, thank you. Yeah, 82. Okay. Thank you, Dina. It's good to rely on you. Now, maybe we should do her father's nigun, the Beinoni. Do you want? We don't have much time left, but we can do that. We start a little late. If you want. Any answer? You want the Beinoni? Nigun of her father, or you prefer something else? No answer?
Yes. I'm trying to get my mic on. Yes.
The Beinoni was written by Aaron Charitonov, and the Rebbetzen really loved it. The Rebbetzen was very musical. She was very talented. She was very knowledgeable, very aristocratic, and very simple. Her house was furnished very simple and very elegant at the same time. She was a very special person. People that know her, you can hear stories, you could probably read and hear people telling the stories about being with the Rebbetzen. And one of the things about music, they say that there's some songs that she liked, but I don't know which ones. Anybody who knows can share us with the group. I would be very happy. Songs that were favorites from the Rebbetzen. A lot of songs, when it came into the Hasidim, went through her first, and then if she approved, then they accepted it. And in the last years, she asked, please don't bring sad nigunim to the Rebbe, because it takes away from his health. Please bring only happy nigunim to the Rebbe. That was her ask. She was very musical and she loved music. So let's do her father's nigun, the Beinoni.